Welcome to another video from Dr. Lock. We're going to be putting access control on a roller door. Why, you ask? Because it's annoying to have to find the keys all the time or the remote control to undo the roller door. A lot of people can benefit from this type of functionality. I mean, there is that option that you can just purchase a wireless keypad for your roller door from the manufacturer, but often they're not compatible, or if it's a commercial grade roller door, things along those lines, you can't do that. So we're going the whole hog, and we're going to be installing a Pac 1 with the vandal proof, waterproof and backlit keypad. The reason we're doing this is because a lot of people, perhaps you might be a cyclist and you can't carry keys and remotes on you. You might have teenagers that will always keep losing their keys. You might want to use your garage as a delivery or drop-off point, and you want to be able to change that PIN number or swipe card quite easily when you do that. So let's get into installing a Pac 1 on a roller door. Okay, so the good thing about being a security installer is you basically have access to some pretty good products, and you also get them at a wholesale price. So one of the products we had around the workshop here, which I'm going to be using, and I know what a lot of people are thinking right now, they're thinking, really? An access control system on a roller door? A lot of people might think it's a bit much, but for us, I don't think it's much at all. It's actually not a bad system. Not a bad system. The products are very cheap, they're very reliable, it does everything I want. Considering this remote control right here, this remote control sent me back about 80 bucks. So if you put that into comparison, what it actually costs for a keypad and one of these units here, you know, it's not that big a jump. It's not much at all. Now, of course, we always try and be stingy. Everyone's trying to be stingy. I saw this little access control system a few years back, and I thought, I'll give it a go. Maybe I'll use it on the home or a gate or somewhere like that. But basically, when I had a look at this type of thing, I was just completely appalled. First of all, there's no weather resistant anything, and when you smell it, it smells like it's actually burnt out and it hasn't even ever been used. So this type of access control system is pretty much not even good. You couldn't use it for absolutely anything, and I'll tell you why. It has RFID tag, which is probably one of the most simplest versions. The keypad here is just kind of stuck on. The buttons do work, not very robust. Eventually they'll stop working. Has a doorbell function here, okay. You know, kids can play with it, but it's not really good for access control. I don't even think it should be labelled access control. Now, to hook this up here, it's very simple. You got your door, your ground, your open, push, normally open, normally close, ground, 12-volt bell, and bell. So to actually wire it up, get it working, it's not that hard. It's quite easy going off those ones there. The instructions are most likely in a different language as well. But what makes this so ridiculously stupid is that once you mount it on a wall, somebody can come along with a screwdriver just like this, pop it open, get it out of there, pop this bit open, get a little paper clip and bridge out the actual circuit. So a lot of systems, they work on a normally open, normally closed, or a bit of power goes down the line to activate them. But when you've actually got all the main cables coming to where your keypad is, it's susceptible to vandalism. So this can just be popped off the front. You get a little paper clip in there, or a little even just a staple, and you bend it, or even a key ring. You bend it, you touch out your two connections, the door will open. So this whole thing here, even though it's got RFID, it's got everything in there, non-volatile memory, all that. It's really a piece of rubbish. So we're not going to be installing that one, but that was a cheap $20 one. We're not going to be installing that one. We're going to be installing the Nidac Pac 1. Now, I've had one sitting around the workshop waiting for an installation, but we haven't come up with a good installation that we've been able to use this for. We don't do a lot of access control at the moment. One of our guys left, and we don't do a lot of it. We've also been using a lot of digital locks lately, so unfortunately we haven't had a chance to install this somewhere. So I thought it'd be a good idea to install it on a roller door and run you through on how we do it. A lot of people might think it's a bit much for a roller door, but I don't. I'd say it's just commercial products. Commercial products, you know, which will last. There's a lot of good reasons why you would use this too. One of the factors is that this control box sits on the inside. The cable which links the keypad, and I'll show you the keypad here, the cable which links the keypad to the controller, it doesn't matter what you do to it. You can't just bridge out wires, you just can't put power down it to actually activate the trigger. So that's the difference between a cheap, nasty one and an actual real access control door system. This cable here has all these different color wiring, and you just simply can't bridge out or do anything there. So we have options now. We have some real good options now that we've decided to go with the Pac system. Option 1, do we want a keypad inside or outside? They sell inside and outside keypads. This one here can be used in both, and then we've got other ones here. I think this is the same sort of scenario, can be used in both, and also has the proxy or RFID swipe card function as well. Both of them do. So we could actually have RFID swipe card on this particular system, but we're not going to really be needing that. So let's just put them aside. The other option we could have is we could have pure just swipe card. We could hook up this reader. We could hook it up, let's say, the other side of the building and swipe it. I believe it's up to about 100 meters with, depending on your power and depending on your cabling, that you can go from your keypad to your controller. So that makes a difference, especially if you're putting the keypad a long way back and you're hooking it up to a roller door, an automatic gate, or something along those lines. You've got to run all the way down the pole, all the way across to the motor and back up. So sometimes you need to do a lot of cable. The next thing is, so what we've chosen here in this installation, we're not going to muck around with RFID tags and swipe cards. It's simply, we just don't need them. We don't want to waste a good keypad on that when it will never ever get used. The only thing we're trying to achieve here is to be able to use a PIN number so it's keyless. So we have this beautiful keypad here, heavy as anything, and this is what we're going to be installing. Comes in a couple of different models. I have done an unboxing on this one before, but now's a good time we're going to install that. I saw one of these the other day on a house, and when I actually called the owner, he went through to his voicemail, and he was actually a security professional too, does electronic security. And I thought, oh, no wonder when I saw it on the wall, I thought, oh, okay, that's why he's got one, because normally I'd see it in a commercial application, but this was on a residential, and I thought, oh, I've seen that product before. And of course it's got the backlit buttons, so that'll make it easier at night time. Alright, so let's go on to the main controller. Now we have a choice here. These are our controller units here. This one is the Pac 1 Series 3, so that's your main brain. Very easy to install. I'll go over the installation of it at the end. I'll draw it all up. The next option we have as well is we have this Pac 1 event logger. Now this has a USB on the side, and basically we can track who goes in. It will give us the data, and we'll most likely be able to program it as well using that as well. But for our needs, we don't need that. Although it would be nice to have this on there, it'll only be functionable if we had more than 3 or 4 users and we wanted to look over who used it last, or if we wanted to be able to track who's using it, which swiper card used it. That's when I would couple these two up. If it's just a simple access control system like what we're using now, where it's PIN number and you've only got the one user and this is a convenience factor, then I'm just going to skip and we'll leave that out. That's it's a cheap product, but it's not really worth wasting the money or the time hooking it up when it's not necessary. It's never going to get used. It's just be a waste. Best off keeping it for commercial application. If we were doing access control on a unit, or if we're doing on a commercial shop or office, I would put it in there, no questions asked. Makes the programming a lot easier. On top of that, it also allows us to be able to track what's going on. And with that USB hookup, it gives us a lot more options. As with this one here, we'll have to do it all by a keypad. That's not a problem because that's quite easy. Now, another product we sell is this big exit button. You can buy these off our website. Now, if we are going to go to the trouble of putting one of these, sometimes it's also good to have an exit button near the roller door. So if you're inside and you want to work inside the roller door, inside the garage, you can just push it, the roller door will drop, and push it, the roller door will open. These aren't too expensive. I'm not too sure what they're, about 30, 40 bucks or less on our website. But it's just simple, just push it, it connects, and away we go. So that's something else that can quite easily be introduced into the system when needed. All right, so that's let's just skip all these other. They're on our website, by the way. All right, so that's what we've got. We're gonna marry this one up with this one. We're gonna be using the power from the CCTV. We're gonna be hiding all the wires. We're gonna be mounting that on the inside, and that's all we really need to get going. This will be able to give us remote access just via pin number, and this keypad is beautiful. Look at that. Look how solid, nice that keypad is. So it's going to be a lot better than having this flimsy sort of remote control hanging off the side. Okay, let's get to the next step. Okay, so we've got our pack ready to go. It comes with a couple of diodes on the side, so if you need them for electric strikes, they're ready to go. Yeah, ready to go with this little unit. First thing I'm going to work out here is, if you see this plate, it's got this little lip on the back, more of a lip, more of a little raised section. So we're going to need to drill a hole. I measured this one here, comes up at about 25 mil, and I measured my speed bore 24 mil. So I'm going to have to wiggle it just a little bit. Now the plot thickens a bit because it looked like it was going to need to run a few cables and things, but it seems I've got a solution. Okay, moving over. Okay, so we know that we're going to be mounting our keypad here. So I can just drill through this double brick, pop a hole straight here, and drill through this wall, collect my cable, and then run up here, and then come to this motor. Now, the thing is with this motor is, when I had a closer look here, I was looking and this is our card for the LCMA remote. Now, we're actually getting 12 volt off that. When I look up here, I found, if I can just get this off, here we are here, I found it's already giving out DC 12 volt 50 milliamps max. Now, this little thing doesn't use much power, and they're not going to be used in conjunction. So I'm going to try my luck and try and draw power from here. Failing that, I can just get my power elsewhere. But I can get my power straight from the motor. So I think our only other option is, where do we mount this section here? I could just double-sided tape this straight to the side here, run a couple of cables in here for my power, and then run through here, because the light actually sits in there. It's got a cap that goes over the top. It houses all that nice and neatly. See that? And then we can run down this conduit, because that's 20 mil conduit, that's really thick. We can run down here for our keypad, and we can also run down here for our dry connection. So we get a figure 8 going from here down to our dry connection, and we bring one up going to our keypad and our power. So really, this is one of those exit buttons. This is a European one. I can pop this off, drill a nice 20 mil hole through here, marry it up here, collect each other, and I can run up and I can run down. So now it's time to drill a couple of holes. Okay, so to remove the front plate, basically we just pop that open, and there's a little Allen key there. They've given us quite a bit of cable there. That's plugged in there, so I think we don't need to extend or do anything. What we need now is a little tool. So let's make a little tool. This has to go into a 20 mil hole and pull this cable out. So that's probably about as much as I need. There's our tool there, so I'll just break that off. Good old coat hanger. Now, the cable's going to go through here. We're going to scoop it and pull it back. Let's test that. Yep, we got lots. Clean that out a bit. Okay, so I'm using this old figure 8. Look how dirty that is. Doesn't really matter. So my idea is to put a whole heap in there, putting a loop in, and we want to try and put as much as we can in there. so we can find it. Now we go through with this. Yeah, look at that. Okay. So there we are there. Step 1. Step 2, we're just going to cut this off. There we go, a drawstring. Okay, so the next step now is to attach this to the drawstring. Wiring can be done many different ways. This is just one way. We want to try and tuck in all those wires. We don't want them getting snagged anywhere. We want this to be a nice funnel effect. So I'm pretty happy with that. Now we just simply pull. So yeah, putting access control on garage, not normal, but it does the job and the price is right. It's a good product. It's not too expensive. It's reliable. It ticks all the boxes. And I use this door all the time. Okay, so now here's the thing. You want that to be as straight as possible. You can get a level, or you can just do like me, and I'm pretty happy with that. Right there. Oop, now I'm not. I like how it adjusts. So if it's not quite right, you can square it up. I think that's good. These are only small screws, but you can't manipulate this device from the keypad. It doesn't matter even if they are small screws. That's where it's going to sit. Nice buttons. Look at that. That's nice. Okay, so now we have our keypad wire, which is here. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to connect this keypad up through this bit of conduit, and we're going to actually attach it right to the back here. It's not going to make any difference. It's not going to be in the way. Can't get touched. So what we're going to do is we're probably going to extend this cable so that it can be connected there. So what I want to do is I want to get these down to here, and to be able to connect this, these will be coming up here, and then we can put our controller in. So I guess the easiest way is just to feed these through. They should be popping out down here any second. There we go. So this installation's extremely easy, really. There's not a lot of cable running. So I'm going to pull these down to here, and then from there I can always give myself excess, so I'm going to push some back in the wall. So I've got heaps of spare if things change. Okay, so on closer inspection, when I consult the manual here, it looks like we have red, black, white and blue. That's all we need. The violet gets connected to the red, and that's pretty much it. So we can just pretty much eliminate a few of these. Now this earth is for static. We don't really need. That's our violet, so we're gonna use that one. So let's get rid of a few of these. Violet we will keep, thank you. White and blue. So pretty much all of these, we don't need them. According to the instructions here, we don't need them. We got them, but we don't need them. So what I might do is I might just stagger these. That way I can electrically tape them up. Okay, so what we've done is we've run the cable through. We've got our 4 wires. I thought it would take more, but it's actually 5 wires, but the violet is actually on the positive. And I know it doesn't look pretty, don't crucify me, but we need solder now. Where's the solder gone? Okay, so now we're just going to solder these connections so they're nice and rock solid. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so that's all of them connected. We have no ground to connect that to, so we won't worry about that. Okay, so we have 4. Now this 25mm or 20mm hole, one of the reasons it's so good is because now when we tape all this up, we'll be able to push it back in the hole. Okay, there we have it. So we've got a lot of room in there, so we'll just push all that back in there. Makes it easy to service, so we'll leave that like that. Come up here, pull this through, give that a clean out. Okay, now we can put our button back. Okay, so we have our keypad, it's mounted. So it's got 2 little hooks here, so let's just finish that off while we're here. It's got a little Allen key. That connects underneath here. So weatherproof, vandal resistant, LED lights. That looks nice. Okay, let's move on to here. So the camera died and I didn't get to show you this step, but basically I've just used very tiny little screws. How small? This small. And there's nothing back there. There's some electrics here. So I've just basically given it 2 little screws. It's in there rock solid. Normally I wouldn't do it so obvious, but it is. It's my place, so it really doesn't matter. So this is the way I'm going to mount it. It's out of the way. It's not an issue. Also, the next thing is I don't need to do any cabling. All our cabling is basically just here. So to operate this door here, it's quite simple. It uses the negative, and it goes to this terminal right here, and it activates the door. So you have forward, stop, and reverse. So let's just check that out. Forward, forward, and then stop. Or forward and reverse, that's good enough. So, first thing we want to do is we want to connect our power. Okay, so I do have these cables coming around in front of the light bulb. I don't like it, so I've just got a little bit of electrical tape on it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to use that electrical tape to kind of saddle them up away from the light. So I'm going to back this screw off. I mean, it doesn't really matter too much if they touch the light bulb, but I prefer they didn't. So punch a hole through there, push that through, bring that around to there, and reconnect that back in there. I mean, if the cables do touch, there is that chance they can kind of burn, and I don't really want that. The light's only low voltage, sorry, the light's only on for a little bit. Now this particular card just sits up the back here in its container, so that one's not a problem. Give it a tug. Okay, so we've still got power here, which is good. We should have power here now. Let's test it. Ah, look at that. Okay, so clearly we do not have enough power. We do not have enough power. So let's remove this one. Okay, good news. I've sorted out our power issue, so I've run a power. Normally I'd be running off a power pack, but today I am lucky because I know that I have a CCTV system that's pushing out more than enough power for this type of application. So I've doubled it off and just stolen some power from the CCTV, which is completely doable. Normally I'd go independent. If I was doing this on a customer's job, I would be doing an independent power pack And this is only a low voltage system. It doesn't take a lot of juice. We're not even using the power in the system to activate any electric strikes. So we're just going to be operating a dry relay contact. Okay, so let's go through it. Got our positive coming in, positive going out to the keyboard, data from the keypad, sorry. Here's our dry contact, so when the keypad does its thing, sends through this signal here, it'll say yes or no, then it'll connect these two, then it'll operate the door. Let's see how our keypad's looking. Okay, working good. Normally the way this sits is we tuck that in there, oh, we're missing something here. This goes back underneath here, if we can put it there. This just kind of covers a lot of these wires here. Just a bit of a wire cover. I can sit there. We could even go as far as to tuck the wires through this finger grip thing, but I don't think it's necessary. Now this will sit at the back here. The antenna will go over the side. These ones will be wrapping around the back here, so they're away from the light. Making sure we get them all in nice and neatly. I don't mind if they stick out a little bit, but I don't think they have to. There we go. Just push that back up on there. Okay, so that wire can hang out, this wire can hang out too, and that's our wires there. That's all we're seeing. So for an upgrade it's not too bad, and we'll just try the light. So the light is down here, it's not really touching any of that stuff we've got at the back. Let's get into programming. So we need to program in some numbers. As you can see, the nice LED lights, doesn't matter really how dark it is, you know, that looks nice. Right, so I've got my little cheat sheet here. First thing we need to do is put this in programming mode. Push that button, a little red light comes on. Now this keypad is different because there's no enter button here. So first thing we're going to do is install a new code. So we're going to go star, then the position 000, and then we're going to go hash. Nope, we did that wrong. To exit, hash 99 hash. We're out. Let's try that again. Okay, programming mode. Now we're going to go star, position 000, and then door number 1. Then we're going to go hash. That's a good sound. Now we're going to put in our code 5566. Then we're going to go hash. That's a good sound. Now we're going to get out of programming mode. Hash 99 hash. Now we're going to try our code 5566. Yeah, the door's moving quickly. Here we go. So our code is now correct. Now to delete that code, push this button here, and to delete we go hash, memory location 123 hash. Okay, now we exit programming mode. Okay, now we try our code. Doesn't work. So that's programming in position 000. We can do up to 600 different codes. Okay, so just a couple of quick notes. We do sell this controller, we do sell the accessories on our lock shop. Just go to drlock.com.au, go to store, and you can find it all there under access control. If you do need a security installer, we no longer offer this service, but you can just Google it, security installer. There's plenty of people, one close to you, who can install this product. If you do need help with this product as well, you can contact the manufacturer, Nidac. There's a number on screen now. We are not a technical support helpline, and we cannot help you with your problems. Our technician left, and we haven't been able to find somebody good enough to replace him. The product is all on the website. All specifications are on the Nidac website as well. So if you need further information, please see that, and thanks for watching.